Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic TTV interview. I am Meso,
And I am Eljay.
and today we have the absolute honor of being joined by someone who you all probably know, someone who has been instrumental in bringing us all together today over the years. He is a famed creator and excellent contest artist, the one, the only, Christian Faber. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Hello. Nice to be here. Fantastic.
This
Thank you
has
so
been
much for joining us.
Yeah, but
years.
it's great.
Years.
I'm so honored. I've looked forward to being part of something that you are making for years and years. All those videos you have made, I've seen a lot of them, and I'm
That is an honor,
honored the
honestly.
other way. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. Thank you. Um, Before we get into questions and all that and the
Mhm.
the formalities, if you wouldn't mind, because every video is someone's first, some people might
Yes.
not know. Give a bit of a primer on who you are, what you've done in the past, and stuff you're up to right now. So,
Yes. Okay. I'll try to do the short one. Okay. In 1986, I went into advertising. I had a lot of drawings in my portfolio, and I was like going into trying to find out what could I use this for before I started in business school or something. And I took the sort of a round trip around agencies in Copenhagen, and they all said, "Well, you had to get an education. You had to be sort of schooled and so on." And I was so tired of school, so I just went on and on. And I think the last place I tried out happened to be a small agency, and they happened to have the greatest client in the world. And I was so lucky that they say, "Okay, we can use your drawing. You don't need to be good at anything else, just a drawing. That's fine." So I was hired, and at the bottom of the pyramid, or what it's called, at the bottom of the food chain there, and that was great. I I entered the world of advertising, which right in the 80s, where everything was flowing with the craziness and a lot of crazy ideas and creative people who were sort of on all kinds of different stuff and so on, and there was so much energy in there, um, and and I was just sitting drawing and doing my stuff. The great thing about this agency, it had the greatest client in the world, which you may know, Lego. So right from day one, I got into drawing Lego stuff. My first drawing ever in the advertising agency was a minifigure wearing a big t-shirt, a big sweatshirt with the agency logo. So that was sort of getting into the drawing style and finding out how to draw minifigures and so on, minifigs. And then from there on, 86 until I stopped in the agency in 2015, I did around I worked on 2 to 3 Lego launches a year, sometimes more. And so let's just say that it's been Lego with a lot of creativity and an amazing journey. So beyond anything I could have imagined, and all the way it has been sort of carried by being creative and being rebellious actually as well. So when I stopped at the agency, I had new ideas to try out. I had to sort of feel the pain of the street again, because just to say, this ride with Lego had been totally smooth and fantastic. But yeah, I had to try out if something else could work. So I've been trying out in a startup that I've sort of created myself since 2015, and yeah, that's come to a really good place now, where actually I have Lego as a client. So that is sort of full circle. Yeah.
Wow.
And there's lots of more things to say, but we can get into that.
Fair enough.
Just real quick, I'm glad you gave us. This is for our audience right now. This counts as the time before time.
Indeed.
Oh God, I feel so old. It's,
Oh no.
Nah,
I gotta resist the urge because I called you like Mr. Faber in our interviews, and you were like, "Don't do that." So I'm gonna try to call you Christian just for the sake of this.
yeah, I have a nickname I'm using, which is Draw Boy. I don't know. I don't know if it has any English things I shouldn't that I shouldn't use it, but in Danish it actually it's quite funny word because it means actually purse with money in it. When you say yeah.
All right, how's it going, Mr. Money? No.
Yeah, whatever. But Draw Boy is also like I just had the feeling, you know, I just came in when they needed some drawings for, you know, to explain stuff. And especially in the early days, I was just like, you know, bring in the Draw Boy. So whatever.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's great.
So
thank you very much. That's kind of like a foundational baseline. You worked at Advance for many years. You were a concept artist, design work. You're the reason behind the concept for BIONICLE, as we all know, the famous story. So to say
I just want to say, can I just say that nothing had been anything if it hadn't been for a great team. So I just want to say from the very beginning that I am all for teamwork. I'm basically, you know, I feel these interviews, they are sort of highlighting single people. I only want to highlight the stuff that actually, you know, the action that's been taken, the drawings that's been made, and the effect they have. I basically want to disappear myself. When I do drawings, you know, I basically don't want to sign them because I want them to work on their own. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to have people sort of think, okay, this has to be good because this is made by this and this. That is not what I'm aiming for. So yeah. Just so you know, I'm going to talk a lot about the team today. About you know, this is a collective effort all the way. Yeah, I just want to make that clear.
And that makes sense. We understand that, especially from a creative perspective, because we do a lot. I mean, this channel is a cooperative effort. It's always been a kind of a group endeavor, and we've always engaged in different creative projects as a team. So we jive with that pretty heavily.
Perfect.
So,
definitely.
Okay.
So that being said, the reason we're all here today is there's the past, there's the future, there's all that. The main reason is hashtag 14B2020 or hashtag BioVival, depending on which you like to call it. It's been a long and storied road. It's no secret the fact that I've made many videos on the subject, and we both have. We've done a lot of like podcasts. I think cumulatively, I think we've talked about your Instagram posts for probably over like 10 hours.
Gosh, like Meso, like half of that has to be you.
No, I'm sure half of it is me. So I guess first of all, what I would like to say before we even ask questions is thank you for coming on to discuss it.
Yes.
In spite of the fact that I have criticized in the past, I want you to know, and I want to kind of establish as a baseline. I have a lot of respect for you as a creator, and I only ever criticize because I care about the fans and the community and your own project's success. I don't claim to know everything, but as a fan, I like to say, okay, well, how can I best help this? And I have I don't have an artistic bone in my body.
It's true. I've known him for like 11 years.
That's purely your wheelhouse. I cannot draw art to save my life.
I've seen this. This is true.
I can give, you know, some alternative perspectives and stuff. And I really appreciate you coming on to talk about things and have a discussion. Because I think through that we can clear up a lot of stuff.
I don't think you're right. You know, the channel you're on, that is a creative, you know, that's top creative effort in, you know, being able to voice and actually analyze and go into talking about creative stuff the way you do it. It's great. It's really, really good. It's so inspiring for the people who are. There's so many people who cannot communicate about what they do, who just sit in and you need the full palette to sort of to get stuff out. That's why I'm so appreciative of your effort in TTV, because you're really putting so much perspective to the stuff. You're finding out about stuff that I would never maybe talk about or think about mentioning, but you are actually into the detail, and it's
all different sides of the same coin,
Totally, yeah. And what are we using all this technology for? What are the goal? What are we moving towards? It's definitely much more freedom coming up, I think, creatively, because you're able to spread stuff to the full planet. You're able to soon, hopefully, you're able to live from the stuff you create as an independent artist because of digital stuff. I can get into that later if you want that, but I'm really trying to encourage people to find themselves in a creative manner in their own, because for me it's been a lifesaver. It's been all the weakness I've met, or all the struggles and so on. I can talk about for a long time, but the only thing that sort of made sense through it was to create my way out of it. So it's such a positive thing to be able to sort of be creative, and sound is creative. People, this thing, people are listening to podcasts and so on. You voicing stuff it's top creative. So don't say you can't.
Thank you, sir.
That is,
I appreciate that a lot.
That is one of the first times anyone has called Meso creative in.
Why are you being mean to me?
I'm sorry. I'm messing.
Oh my god! You can talk 10 hours about my crappy stuff, and you're not creative.
Okay. So Eljay,
hello.
I think
Eljay.
you should. I think you should get the first question now that we've established what we're going to be talking about. You
Yes.
kick things off.
Now this is equal parts an easy question and a difficult one, depending on where things land. Flat out, a lot of people want to know. We've certainly had our thoughts and opinions on things, the two of us especially. We've made our own inferences. We've talked about what we think this might be, what it could be, what it is being perceived as. But a lot of people genuinely are curious. Is this hashtag 14B2020, hashtag BioVival, is this Bionicle?
It's a biological chronicle. Let's just say that
Well, here.
Can I just try to explain? Can I explain?
Go for it. I can rephrase later if you need.
Okay. Yeah, but I'll try to sort of make the picture so it's a bit more clear.
Okay.
If you look at GU1, that was actually a survival struggle for Lego, and it had actually gone on from. I began to sense it. I've been working with Lego from '86. I began to sense the crisis in the whole system in Billund, and people getting fired and so on. Mackenzie people walking around in the creative department, getting rid of people. That started already in the mid 90s, and I'm sitting in an agency in Copenhagen, and that was almost like a free space for creative people coming over there, because they don't, it was really a crisis building up through years and years, and it was, you could feel it in the in the buildings almost, that this was something big was going to change and so on, and people were nervous. So the move towards doing something like BIONICLE, that's on my behalf, it started already in in 96, 95, 96,
Mm-hmm.
trying to actually act up against this threat that was totally faceless. And I don't know if it makes sense to mention all the stuff that Lego was up against.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you had a gaming industry that was really waking up. People were turning away from physical play. You had China opening up their toy production craziness that, you know, you could get remote control car for the same price as a small box of Legos.
Mm-hmm.
And that it would give you instant gratification out of the box. It will also break after 2 hours, but that's another thing. You don't care about that when you get this big this big monster truck that it can't. It breaks driving over like the edge of the door. Then the wheel breaks off, but who cares? And that was the other thing. Then you had a lot of talks about what Lego should do with their old-fashioned product. They were left in the back of the toy store, because when people went into a toy store, they always went through the whole toy store, and then if they didn't find anything, they just took Lego down from the shelf as a present or something. So there was always this safety. But actually, at this point in time, it started becoming that all the popular stuff, all the toys were standing in the front of the store. So people would get stuff out of these displays, and they wouldn't even come to the Lego aisle. At the same time, there were a lot of kids that was like, they were turning away from the stuff that the parents were sort of endorsing. And Lego has always been a parent endorsing, toy.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to show that they got pocket money. They had the ability to sort of become independent, buy their own stuff, and so on. And they would definitely not buy the stuff that the parents suggested. So, and there were plenty more obstacles with an organization that was too heavy, too many people not knowing exactly where the value was in their work, and where the stuff that didn't work. It was almost like a tree with too many branches and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I can mention a lot of things about. There's a whole book about it, about Lego's turnaround. And we, as a creative agency, we were helping Lego all the time, and we were sensing this. So I actually got this idea of trying to create a constructible action figure, because we were only building cars. I had Lego Technique as my client. I was an art director. I did a lot of Lego Technique stuff. I did a commercial where there's a hand driving a car through a tunnel, which I'm really happy about still. It can be seen on YouTube. And we tried to sort of reinvent Lego Technique as sort of this cool brand with new packaging and so on. And we actually did a CD-ROM as well, which sort of envisioned having a virtual, VR helmet to put on, which is quite funny when we talk about sort of where I'm now. So, but that's another thing. So a lot of things were tried out, but I had an idea that I wanted to I had to build it in some way. I had to make it physical. So we did this project during a summer holiday. It's called Cybots, and it's it looks really strange when you look at it now, but it was trying to do a system where you would know what the brick was supposed to do when you saw it. So you would know, okay, this is a torso, and this is a leg, and this is a foot, and this is a head. But the thing was, we needed the connector joint, which was not possible to do with Lego Technique at that point. So I talked to one of the technicians over there that was put to our disposal, and we actually did the first ball joint, because when you look at a body, at a biological body, the ball joint is so essential. Mm-hmm. And actually, the ball joint has been, I really feel that if another company has invented the ball joint as this connector, they could have done really, really big damage to Lego, because they would have been able to do a competitor toy and really, really take all the advantages of being able to build organic life and so on. But amazingly enough, Lego suddenly had these two totally different connector points, which was sort of pointing towards two different target groups and two different building experiences and so on. So that's sort of the situation that led up to. I'm getting long in my talk, but I want to jump to the craze products, which is like Slicer, Robo-Rider, Slicer, and Robots. Then you have Robo-Riders, and then came BIONICLE, and that was sort of course, generation 1.
Yeah.
So it was basically a totally new line, totally out of Lego, and it saved a lot of the belief in how to innovate stuff and how to actually look at your own product and reinvent it, and so trust in yourself and so on. So that was actually relearned by Lego through these years. So when Generation 2 came out, it was right at the point when I stopped at the agency, and that was for many reasons. But of course, I don't want to say any bad things about Generation 2, but I can just say that it was too early in my book.
We agree.
It was too commercial, and and it lacked all the, and I'm using a word that you probably will remember. It was lagging the mystery. It was lagging the cryptic part of the.
Oh yeah.
So I was sort of saying, okay, I'm sitting outside Lego now. It's 20 years anniversary, right in a little while there in 2019 and so on. And now I was sort of how do I stir up something that I can I'm one man. I don't have the direct contact to Lego anymore. I was totally outside Lego. I didn't work for anything, any account or anything. I was doing something on my own. So I just wanted, as a fan, to sort of say, I want to start something that can gain so much mystery and so on, that I can actually go to have these meetings that where you are sort of, it's a really long process to get something like this up and rolling, and I've never tried it before to restart something in that way, because Lego had been heard about. They were not happy about second generation, the way that turned out, of course, and they have so many successes afterwards, so they're drowning in success right now almost when I look at it. And they're actually trying to survive being too successful. Where
kind of how G2 ended up failing commercially in a way.
Yeah, because there was not any focus. It was not something that was saving anything. It was just on top of everything else that was a success. And I can tell you a lot about how that came to be, that the BIONICLE thing actually came back. I think it's basically, I guess it's Lego secrets, so I'm not going to go into that, but it's an amazing story.
We'd love to hear that one day.
But I think I have to get it cleared because that's
we understand.
Makes sense.
But I can comment on the output of it, of course, because I can't go directly into comment on the process. I think that would be a bit since I'm working on new stuff for.
You don't want to jeopardize potential relations by kind of talking about it. We get it.
That's fine.
So I guess.
But then just to say that I started this out, I had contacts in Lego. I wanted to show them that the mystery, the urge for mystery was still out there, and all the fans were now in another age group. So they were so ready to get something that's much more, it's much more that age. It's not for kids. It sounds strange, but I wanted it to be, the next thing that comes out is really, really it's a puzzle that you have to dive into. You have to get a lot of hints in different ways. You have to put it together yourself and be part of it in a totally different way. And also, I was also thinking about if there was a product, it should be something totally different that took it to sort of a next level. So all these experiments has been aiming towards that. And I was trying to sort of push myself by doing this date. And I was using the April Fools to also say, well, this is really, really the rebel in me that it's funny because all the stuff I've done for Lego that really worked, as I said before, or maybe earlier, it's been stuff where I have been really, really not following the brief, not following sanity, but following more sort of crazy intuition and sort of what would I feel was if I was standing on the outside, what would be interesting to look at and to sort of be invited into. I don't want to be, force fed some kind of marketing story that I need to sort of. I want to try to make the puzzle myself and try to add stuff. So it's really out of a lot of respect for everybody who's doing Bionicle now, that they need a playground that's much more amazing and endless and so on. If something if Generation 3 is coming out, it has to have amazing potential in in new ways.
Mm-hmm. So I gotta say, so if I'm understanding right, so it was the whole thing. It was very intentionally mysterious and cryptic, kind of to show people like to show Lego that people still cared about this, like in this manner. Like unlike
and
G2,
they cared about it, and they cared about it in the sense of the mystery.
Yeah,
exactly.
And when wanting Bionicle to come back with something completely different product-wise, yet respectful to the past.
Yes, and I think people want to be Bionicle, the original one, that really challenged people, because there was no bad guy in the beginning. There was no recipe for how you play with this. People were basically just getting a canister with the character inside, who most of them didn't know what this was about, and they invented their own bad guy and their own story or whatever they needed. But that was fine, because you are investing in this because there is a lot of free space in between the information you get, and sharing all these single frame pictures, almost like you have a full movie, but you're cutting out key scenes, and then you're just distributing the key scenes, and people are sitting trying to find the connections between these scenes. That's I'm just looking at myself about this is what sort of awakens my creativity or my wanting to get in if there's a lot of room left open. So it's really subjective trying to to sort of respect the creative people who are who you ask to come in and play.
Yeah.
So
okay, I feel like
interesting.
I feel like I've got like a way better understanding now. Like I feel like a lot of people might listen to that and be like, "Well, there's no real like solid direct answer there," but there's like a lot. There's a lot of substance in what you just said, and I feel like that's really has helped me engage in a way that I haven't been yet. And that's interesting.
It's tough because from word go, I always got the implication that you were trying to revitalize interest, to show that there was still interest, and to leverage that interest for an end goal. What's been frustrating, at least in the community, is because, as I kind of outlined in my rant video, everyone is very specific about the things in Bionicle they're attached to. And there's a lot of people who have the mentality, well, for instance, just a throwaway example, if there's no action figures with ball joints, I'm out, and it doesn't matter what any of the other stuff is.
Can I give you a secret?
Sure.
Can I tell you a secret? They are already out there. You just have to find them again.
Like on eBay? I'm kidding.
Wow.
No. They are in basements around the world. They are in attics. They are in, they are lying around. They are already out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a little hint. But
No, fair enough.
But what I'm saying is, imagine you were the tower inside the canister. How would you know about the stuff the place where you're landing, where you're coming ashore?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have a full map of the place you're landing? I guess not. I want to prep people to coming ashore. I want to prep them to the mystery and the not knowing anything about the location. It's like, look at me as somebody standing in a harbor. I have a strange ship lying there, and I'm trying to get people aboard because we're going on a journey to a place I really don't know what it looks like, but I know it's amazing because nobody's been there before. And I want people to get on board as the crew, because I need a big crew to make this happen. And let's just say, the people who go on this journey, it's basically like sending the rover to Mars and saying, if it doesn't land, then we wasted a lot of time. But imagine if it lands, and then you are off, and you have the next step in the journey. And I want this to be a journey, because the tower is the key point here. You become the tower, and that's been the mantra from the very beginning. You're thrown on this island. You don't know about these Turaga or the local people coming and saying, oh, everything is wrong. You have to find out about the truth. You have to go beneath the robot and find all the actual facts that you then can sort of act on. Because everything you get told is either superstition, or it's like something that people haven't seen themselves but heard about. I really want you to be a truth seeker. So that's what I ask people to sort of prepare for.
I think the thing that's been hard to reconcile as someone who's in the community and who sees, the things people say is you have a manner of speaking that is very like idealistic and inspirational. You try to inspire people with creativity.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do, and what I've observed and highlighted in some of my videos, is they take the things you say very, very literally in order to build up expectations, which I believe are rather unrealistic. And I want to highlight this very succinctly because we just got a comment. This is the live stream.
Yeah, just a
couple of comments. So one of the things that someone said, and this might be a joke, so I apologize if this is a joke and I'm reading it seriously. I'm just going to treat it like it's serious. You mentioned, do you want to know a secret? The ball joints and stuff, they're already out there. They're in basements everywhere. Someone replied to that and said, Lego has been secretly releasing G3 prototypes. I don't think that's what you meant by that.
No, but look at the community. Look at I'm looking at all these builds that's coming out, and they are beyond amazing.
Oh yeah.
The community. There are people designing stuff out there where I'm blown away. I would exhibit them if I could and okay, now I'm gonna make another connection about living from the stuff you're doing. Do you see some kind of trace here? I'm asking you because the creativity, if you are sort of fired up by creativity, which I hope is the reason why you are in BIONICLE. It's not to go down and throw money at the toy store and pull plastic off the shelf. Of course, it's part of it, but deep down beneath that, you are looking into something that you might be able to, in a perfect world, do the rest of your life as a living, because you are becoming a 3D artist, you're becoming a creator, you're becoming. You get a sense of biological connection and you get used to mystery. You get used to handling complex stuff. You are into gaming. You are into community. You are training for the future. Does it sound crazy?
Not really. I mean, the sets, people always say, what is the core of Bionicle? A lot of people say it's the products because that was what was center. But, I've always said, well, that might be the quote-unquote core in the sense it wouldn't have existed without them. But what you take from Bionicle is often a lot more deep than that.
It goes beyond.
There were elements about it. It goes far beyond.
The core of drawing is the pencil. That's what it's all about. It's what's come out of the pencil, and you are transforming yourself through what you are building yourself through what you build with Lego. You're building your mind and your way of thinking. This is education outside the school. Am I ranting or?
No, I get it. I get where you're coming from on this one. I completely agree with you here, believe it or not.
And I want people to be educated all the way through their life, because the brain, it's the most amazing gift we have ever, will ever get. It's our escape. It's our best friend. It's our most sexy body part. It's, it can do anything you like if you master it and control it and can use it in the right way. And I just want to put one person in the picture here, Stephen Hawkins. This guy sitting in a wheelchair, he's able to move one muscle. He is writing messages to us about black holes. How the hell do we know this? Have you been out there? What kind of trip has it been on? He can only move one muscle in his body, and he has that ability to go into black holes. Think about, I know he's dead now, but he's probably somewhere else. That was not a religious remark, but
I get you.
But he is, I'm just saying, people, look at yourself, look at your abilities, no matter how disability, this what is called, no matter how weak or whatever you are struggling with, you are an amazing creation that can transcend anything. And you look at all the people. That's why I'm saying the weakness is the stuff that actually has inspired me to everything I do. When I feel weak, I feel, okay, here is something I can use. And I think that could be something, everybody, kids at school feeling, awkward or weak or whatever. If they can harness that, they will have their own uniqueness, because that's their own story. That's, the struggle to come through the weakness is much more interesting than the celebrating of the strong. And I want to, that's a lifelong educational journey. And I think Bionicle is an amazing place to start with this, and you can use it for the rest of your life. This ability to use your brain creatively, and Lego is just the means to the end, and Bionicle is the means, and the pencil and the clay you use. If you're good at playing piano, if you're good at, it's the process. You're not playing the piano to finish. You're playing to play.
Right.
So enjoy the process, and that's not stopping when you are leaving Bionicle or leaving school or leaving whatever. It's something you're getting better and better at. So I wanted to try to say, can I reignite these really, really enthusiastic, creative people who have been maybe put to sleep by commercial thoughts from business schools and so on. I think people need to wake up, basically.
It's dual purpose for you. You want to inspire the community while also trying to, I don't know about like get something on shelves, quote unquote, but you want to show the corporations that there's still an audience for this thing that they all love. It's not one or the other, it's both at once, basically.
And do you know how strong a muscle all the Bionicle fans are? If you can get them to work in synchronized, then you can move mountains.
Fair enough.
No, we've
we've dealt with that a bit.
It's incredible. It's genuinely incredible. Like, just for instance, so right now, as we talk, we have 216 individual people concurrently listening. They're listening all right now, and
That's
Very good.
it's
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. This is so, it's I'm really honored about being able to talk live to you and talk on TTV and so on, because this is really, I've been training for this for 40 years. It's crazy. So getting the ability to speak actually, and not just sitting through mystical drawings and sort of cryptical messages, trying to sort of enlighten, also not enlighten. I don't want to be. I don't. If I sound religious or anything, that I want to get you into a cult or whatever. No, this is not. This is not what it's about. We're not leaving on a spaceship, everybody, in a little while.
I mean, look, I appreciate just getting the chance to talk to you, because I think what happens a lot, when you just read something in text, we've spent the last 2 years following the Instagram posts, and all we can do, because we feel detached from the process, it's like we pick up on specific words, we try to think about what this specific word meant, and try to put it on a board, and draw lines connecting each one. It helps a lot to hear you speak about it. I think it's clear what you are envisioning here.
Yeah, and I'm envisioning as I speak, because I'm never prepared for this. I just who the fuck am I? Sorry, to sit and try to tell anybody about how to do what, whatever. I really, really want to step out of the center of the circle, and just, I want to focus on the ball. I want to invent a new kind of football or whatever sport it is, where it's about creativity, and there are some great inspiring rules, and people can join into this, and they can actually, they can reinvent outside the box, but actually also contributing into this creativity. I think creativity will become a science. Right now, until now, it's been entertainment. It's been leisure. It's been Hollywood. It's been just something you take with your popcorn, or something you do when you are, when you have some time to burn. But I think it will be a science. It will be the most important survival skill in the future. So start training, and it's gonna be so fun, because the technology is gonna come and contribute to this in an amazing way. And I can talk about that for a long time as well, because my new setup is coming to a place where I hope I can surprise you a little later this year with something that you probably haven't seen before.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Again, I want to just clarify something, because I see those getting tossed a lot around. There's a difference when I make videos and when I talk about your initiatives. I try to, number one, give my opinion, but also be an aggregate for things I've seen in the community.
Yeah.
I will say personally, I don't care whether whatever you do is Bionicle or not. I just want to see something cool from you in the modern era. Would I like to see Bionicle? Of course. Would I write it off if it doesn't end up becoming that in name? Not necessarily. I think that it could still be cool for what it represents. The issue comes from the fact that, a lot of people, and I don't think they're bad for this necessarily.
No.
They just care about what they love.
Yeah.
They're very adamant about, this must be Bionicle. This has to be a direct continuation of Generation 1. This has to be with the characters we knew from before. And I think that's where a lot of the controversy comes in from, because a lot of your posts are posts appeal to the nostalgia in people.
Yeah.
And it's about, where do you draw that line between, it's about the themes of what this nostalgia represents.
Yeah.
Versus,
but the story is not lost. The past is not lost, but it's the past. And I'm just saying, I don't want to make like a rerun. And I can only say I want to quote an old song. Sorry, it's a bit taggy. But if you love somebody, set them free. And that's right. I know quoting time is not. That's like dad jokes. It's really. Sometimes I get into that habit. So just please stop me. but it's really about, this has to evolve to not become something that I played. I'm a dad now, but I played with this as a kid. Isn't it cool, son? And they're like saying, okay, yeah. Does it do anything? No, you can turn this thing on the back and then it swings. The arm turns up and down. Isn't it amazing?
I feel like I have some friends who are like that now. They're like only a couple years younger than I am, and they're just like, cool. Yeah, that's something you got there.
I agree with you completely on
is
this.
Is that a cogwheel in there? Whoa.
Whoa. So one of the things directly related to this that I think there's no harm in like asking and being direct about, because I think we're of like mind. So pardon my bluntness. Whatever you end up making, if for some hypothetical situation, say you partner with Lego and they bring back Bionicle, if you had your way about it, I think it's fair to say you would not directly pick up from the moment the story ended in Bionicle Generation 1. I think it's fair to say, would you want to do your own take? Would you want to do your own reimagining?
Okay, now I'm gonna spill a bit of yeah.
Okay.
I know you're good at figuring out riddles, so now I'm gonna say something. I want to make it your choice if you want to relive the story that has been, if you want to see what happens if that's actually just myth, and what about reality, because what we have seen is myth. It's like reading an old book about something that happened many years ago. What if you went into that action yourself and actually you knew all the myth, but you went in there yourself and saw, okay, that was what it was about. So imagine all the stuff you've seen in Bionicle is somebody who is depicted or tried to sort of envision what actually happened, but they were not there themselves. So now my really big dream is to be able to, give you the choice where to start. I'm not gonna say so much more, but
that's fair enough.
And how do I do that? Well, that is
that's the question.
That has to do with the really sort of awkward post I did last week. If you think about what those two round,
the one with the round circles.
Mm-hmm. If you think about what that could be, then you might get a bit of the riddle.
I think I have a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Okay, this is a theory. I'm thinking virtual reality. Am I close?
Yeah.
Ish.
I'm working together with a company called Unity.
Yeah. No Unity.
So let's just say that anything is, the sky's not the limit. Let's just say.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think without, you don't have to go into the nitty gritty details, but I think it's fair to kind of take that claim that you're looking to not to disrespect the past, but to not repeat or cling to the past. I
want to learn from the past without repeating it directly.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go about it as well. A lot of people say, well, in the hypothetical situation that Lego brings back Bionicle, I would really like to see it directly where it left off and see what Takanuva's been up to on Spirus Magna. And I'm like, I don't really know if modern audiences would be able to relate to that after being away from that character for 15 or so years.
Could I give a little, could I say a little thing? It's like saying, the Odysseus, this Greek myth. It's like saying, I would like to go back and see what he was doing after that, after the after he traveled back from Troya. What happened afterwards? I would like to see that. It's about, it's 10 years of myth, which is really, really elaborate. There's so much put into that. and it would almost be like, it would take out the legend feel of it if you are suddenly landing in, and people would be, the worst thing would be that people would have so many opinions about how stuff should be that the only way they could actually be satisfied is if they were directing it themselves.
I feel like it's kind of interesting because in a way, it's very similar to something that we've heard. Are you at all still in contact with / familiar with Greg Farshty, Mr. Farshty?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I know him really well. We've been working together for years and years. But since he stayed inside the Lego organization when I left, and got a lot of other tasks there, and he worked out of US, and this was before we had all these connectivity stuff. So we met physically when we did the story, sort of. What do you call it? We had story meetings. We had where we sort of worked on the core of what the next part would be, and we would have a core team sitting where there would be basically one guy from Billund, there would be me from the agency, and then Greg would be there. We would sit, try to figure out what would the next step be, and then we would give it further out to more people who would come in and give their opinion.
Yeah.
And we will flesh out what would be happening, but there are of course also funny stories about how stuff came about, and so on. So I guess we will get into this when we have this talk later on the BIONICLE Day, which is planned.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be one of the hosts.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah. So the reason I bring Greg up is, okay, somebody in the YouTube chat reminded me that I need to ask you something, but I'm going to put a pin in that real quick. Anyway, so the reason that I bring Mr. Farshty up is we've talked and we kind of pseudo work with him on stuff on our website.
Perfect. Yes.
In the vein of BIONICLE, of course. And we've had many conversations with him, and something that he talked about was never really seen a definite end to the original BIONICLE story. He always kind of envisioned, instead of a proper conclusion, it would be an open-ended continuation to allow people to do with it what they will, to make their own stories, to fill in the blanks, to kind of enjoy in their own way. And so a lot of what you're saying is kind of along those same lines, where it really gives a lot of power and creativity to the individual to make it what they can. And I think that's kind of an interesting, like, two different people, two different creative minds, two different continents, and that same through line. And I think that's really, really interesting. I think that's super cool.
I think that if this becomes like a common sort of way of thinking about what would be the right way to do it, I think this is a common effort, and as I said at the beginning, it's so much about the group effort here, and having people attack problems from different sides, but in the same interest, and me hearing about you talking to Greg about thinking in this way totally aligns with, and I think it's because our minds have been in some way educated by BIONICLE in the same way. So when the most amazing thing is when you're working with something and it's starting to talk back to you, and you know what to do and what not to do, and that is the state of BIONICLE, I think. And that was why, in some way, people were not listening to what BIONICLE was saying when they did Generation 2. There was a lot of marketing efforts in there that actually broke up the logical way of doing it, and there was a timing issue of being too early and too much, too messy, too sort of insisting in being cool.
Basically. I completely agree there.
Yep.
So there was so many things that were, if you look at the marketing, people coming out from business school, which I'm not saying that they are not good at this, but they want everything crammed in there. They want this, sandwich with every ingredients, and you can't really taste anything. But when they present it, it looks like, oh, this is gonna tumble the world, and everybody has all the buzzwords and so on, and that was not what Generation 1 was about. That was about saving, the invention, the inventive spirit of Lego, trying to give our sort of perspective on how can you reinvent the Lego creativity, and I think that was, coming back to, what do I feel about my own effort in this. I think the greatest thing I can look back at is doing the right thing at the right time with the right effort. That is what I'm most proud of, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it is sort of an amazing sort of web of efforts and coincidence and luck, basically, also. So yeah.
All right, that makes a lot of sense.
For
real
sure.
Quick, before we get into some other questions, because we still have a handful more. One of which is
I love it.
Awesome. One of which is actually about Rebel Nature. We definitely want to talk about that too, because that kind of predates a lot of this, and that's actually something I'm very interested in seeing what you're working on. But I have one quick question. This comes from our YouTube chat. It's from indulge me, please. It's from Nikita Chumachenko. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Eljay, you have to ask him how he pronounces the Toa of Air's name from 2001. How do you pronounce the name?
Oh dear.
Hang on, the green one.
This is a trick.
No, it's not really a trick. So there's a lot
Everyone pronounces it differently.
This is one of the sillier parts of the Bionicle community.
This is my Danish way. Lewa.
One more time.
Lewa.
I'll take it. That works for me.
That's fair.
I'll take it.
That's how most people pronounce it.
Somebody say Lua.
Yes, I used to call it Lua all the time.
We hear Lua. So the one that kills me is Lewa, because what had happened was Greg Farshty had written a Bionicle encyclopedia, and so he pronounces it Lewa as well, and so he was getting all the pronunciations ready in the book, and he's like, all right, how do I spell this name? Well, all of my European coworkers, they always pronounce it Leva, and so he took it Leva, and he figured, okay, so they think it's Lewa, and it's spelled Lewa. So it's we just kind of like going around everywhere and kind of seeing how the creators like pronounce it, and it's a goofy thing. It's just a fun thing.
You need to know another funny thing.
Go for
it. Do you know what Toa means in Swedish?
It means something in Swedish? I don't know.
Toilet. So we had a bit of fun there with the Swedish market.
Holy smokes.
The heroes are coming, the Toa. The toilets are coming.
That's got my gears turning, no pun intended. Meso, we've got to use that for something.
That's incredible.
Who's your favorite character? Mine is Toilet Lewa.
That's perfect. I love it.
All right.
The white one.
So, one of the last things I want to ask specifically about the hashtag BioVival project is less from me and more just kind of like I want to get it on the record to refer back to for other people. So we've talked a lot about your goals for it and your aspirations and your thought process. So there's a lot of misinformation that people throw around out there. So kind of once and for all, clarity for the listeners. BioVival in its current state, how it is right now, is not concretely a relaunch of Bionicle. There are not currently products being produced, and there is currently no development team being paid to write a new story. At this point, you're still in brainstorming, or even like, I guess you could call it a pitch state. Is that correct? Would you say? Is that close?
Let's say that Bionicle is being repurposed.
Okay.
All right. I think
I can accept it.
Yeah, that we can work with that.
And I just want to add a bit thing. You know something that's called we're sitting on Earth Day today.
Yes, today is Earth Day.
Do you know the story about there was this tribe of confused small degenerated robots somewhere that was where nature was gone out of control, and they were asking for somebody to come and help them?
Yeah.
Do you know the story? And then some elemental heroes came.
I think I'm a little familiar.
Smidge bit.
Okay, but I'm just saying that we are sort of the small confused robots running around on the beach, trying to figure out why nature is going crazy, and we need somebody to help us. So I'm just saying that. Could you imagine something that was a bit closer to what we are needing, and the global goals, everything? I'm not saying that this is becoming a political thing. I'm just saying that I think anything creative has to point in a situation in the direction that looks at the actual facts on the planet. And BIONICLE has been part of saving Lego. So I'm just saying, I don't know what this is going to mean directly, but
that's fair enough.
Repurposing creativity is my mantra from now on. I don't want to make I don't want to make entertainment. I don't want to make toys, which is, of course, I want to make people acutely aware of how their creativity can affect their own life and reality. And I'm just looking at inventions being put out there that actually help solve real problems, being built out of people being ingenious with different stuff. I've seen actually, I see so many inventions coming out of everyday life now, out of situations where people are clever about fixing stuff and so on. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying exactly how this should work, but I just think that people need to learn how to engineer their own reality. Mm-hmm. And I think BIONICLE, the building blocks of Lego and anything, if you look at a lot of stuff, Lego is trying to do bricks made out of different material that can be reused.
Yes.
And the most reusable about the Lego is that it's you never throw it out because you know that it has a value in the way it works. It's like a biological substance that is reused all the time. It's not thrown out. Mm-hmm. And I've heard somebody say on very high level that in 30 years, people will ask about, did you throw stuff out when you were, why did you do that? I think that we're moving towards not throwing anything out at all. Everything is going to be repurposed. And that's why I want to see if I can repurpose a story.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So this is this is a first in the world, I guess, and it's sort of an attempt to try to recycle mm-hmm. for a purpose, and I have some pretty strong tools at my disposal right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, prepare yourself.
All right. No,
that's fine by me.
Yeah, no,
I'm open to seeing whatever form BIONICLE could take in the modern era. Mm. I don't necessarily, I'm not one of those people who says it must have, ball jointed action figures sold on shelves in canisters.
Kuki and Nika with a different color scheme, or
yeah, it's not about the specifics. It's about the idea.
Put all that knowledge, all that story, all that good experiences you have had, put that in the backpack and look forward. I'm just saying, you need both your hands ready. You can't carry any load when you're going into the next step. So put it in the backpack, and it already. You have it there, and it's part of you in your further journey. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
when you're climbing Mount Everest, you're not pulling out an instruction book and reading. You are on a new journey where you use all your knowledge from earlier, and you act. You act to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I want Bionicle to be. It's your knowledge, it's your past, but it makes you much more clever in the future.
I like it a lot.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
LJ, where you want to go next?
I know exactly. I think this is a really good springboard for where I want to go next. Real quick comment from the YouTube chat. This is from KR, who asked, hey, LJ, tell him that we also like Faber's work in Latin America.
There you go.
I'm so honored. Oh, this is having people sitting in Latin America listening. It's mind blowing for me. It's
incredible.
I'm that old. I was sitting looking at a black and white TV in my parents' living room when that came in. We got a black and white small TV where we could see one channel, and I had a phone with a plug in the wall that I had to turn dial, and sitting now talking to you, different places in the world, and having listeners. Yeah, it's
there you go.
Totally amazing.
It's
the future.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because we have a really fantastic opportunity to engage with and discuss with people across the world. Like I said earlier, our group is very much a team effort. We have members from Germany, Norway, Britain, New Zealand, and they all bring such unique and fascinating perspectives. And it is a global effort in every sense.
Okay, guys, I need you to get into this Clubhouse thing. I want to invite one of you, and then you can invite the others, because this could be amazing for you, because there are really, really amazing people out there to connect with, and to take this. I think this is a piece of pop culture that can be reignited in new ways. So you would be able to make a room out there where you're talking to this, where anybody in the world could be sitting listening.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who this is by invitation now. I know that's sort of a limitation, but it could be all you fans sitting listening could be invited to be part of this, which would make it sort of a bit of an exclusive thing, but it already is a bit.
And this is an upcoming app that people are building called Clubhouse that can connect.
It's really big already, and I've only been on there for 2 weeks, but I'm just thinking, how do I get my people in there?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a lot of really, really sort of well-educated scientists and so on, and it's right from Elon Musk to Pamela Anderson. So you can there are so much diversity in there. I went to a party with Snoop Dogg the other day, a talk party. so it's just opening the world in a crazy way.
Mm-hmm.
Imagining having this talk now, and people could raise their hand and they could be pulled on stage to talk together with us.
Mm-hmm. And
one of those sitting in the audience could be Elon Musk coming on stage. If you felt this was interesting, that's the kind of Clubhouse experience you get.
Mm-hmm.
And in there you will learn about how to use NFTs in a way that will change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because the stuff you built out of Bionicle can actually become something very valuable, because it's unique and you can't get the bricks anymore. You can't buy them.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who has a collection out there, hold on to it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Or find them at your parents. Go back to your parents and say hello and say, "Can you remember the stuff I had in the basement? Is this still there? Oh, you sold it. Oh no! Do you know how much that's going to be worth?"
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All right. I think I
but
definitely
look, people, everybody out there, look up NFT. It's a blockchain, and it's going to change the world. maybe in a different way, but right now it's mind blowing what's happening already, I think.
Okay.
So that was a little sidetrack, but
no, you're fine. I definitely think, because what we would love to look into Clubhouse and kind of getting that to more people to try and help connect things. I think that would be.
Yeah, I will send if I send you one, then you get, I think, 3 invites or something.
Okay.
And can connect the others.
Chain it together.
Yeah, like you can just spread it out, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. In that case, that all said, let's go ahead and jump into another question, because again, I did want to touch on this. I think that this is something that we've been following since you've been working on it. We are definitely interested in learning more. What is rebel nature?
Okay, that's also a biological chronicle, but it's about humans. It's not about robots. So if you make sort of, I've actually drawn a triangle where I say, okay, in one corner you have technology. It's something that's man-made, but it's becoming its own entity. It's becoming its own thinking, moving, reacting thing, technology. And then you have humans in the other corner of this triangle, and then you have nature as the third corner. And I want to tell a story about each of those corners. So let's just say BIONICLE, or what comes next in the BIONICLE row, is about robotic life. It's about how do you secure that there's a morale inside the head of a robot? What do you load? What kind of a myth do you load to give them some kind of? If you want to do that, right now we are gods. We are deciding what we put in these new machines. But what when they, right now there's a robot driving around on Mars, and we are sort of 8 minutes or quarter of an hour or whatever it is when we send messages, but it has to pretty much work on its own. And in some way we have given birth to something that's moving on its own somewhere else. So it's starting to happen. And if you look at the corner of the humans, when I started Rebel Nature, that was when I got my first kid, she's 16 years old now. So that has been in the works for 16 years. And Rebel Nature is really, it's actually a message in a bottle to my future grandkids that I may not know or whatever. It's it's an attempt to make a connection between my past, my now, and their future. And that's, I think, what the power of storytelling can do. If you do the right story, that will prevail through anything. Because the story, I have a very famous Danish, what's called, one from the same country. I can't remember what that's called. But if you look at Hans Christian Andersen and his stories, I feel I know Hans Christian Andersen because of his stories. I don't know anybody else from that era, but I feel I know him personally almost because he has shown his weakness and sensibility in a story that has passed through time. And it's the same, with the old philosophers from Greek. They told something that makes sense for me now. I can actually take out knowledge. So that human connectivity into the future, I think that's the most amazing reason to create stuff and to, carry stuff further into have a meaning with the stuff you're making.
Right.
And just to put another thing to that, I think we have been through the dark ages of storytelling with all the, when I look at the TV at night, there are there are so many deaths in there. There are so many killings. There are so many murders to be solved. There are, news about people. In some way, we are in the media way. We are at the really, really, at the really, really low end of the evolution scale. What we like to see, what we find entertaining. It's something that really scares us and shows us that we are safe and somebody else is dead, or it gives us some kind of kick in that way. And I think that's also the gaming industry is like, and actually also with 3D and virtual reality, the stuff you see out there is about scaring. It's about making people throw up or almost do it, or have these amazing action adventures. And I'm looking into where these technologies become something you use for education, for calming down, for connecting with people you're not close to physically. When that becomes part of the and not just entertainment, that is my aim with being in that business. So I want to try to show how the school can become different. If you imagine every school having a room with VR equipment, people, the classes would only need 1 hour in there a week to get the same amount of empathy that you fight to give these pupils for years and years. You get instant empathy when you're in the ocean with the whale that you have to pull plastic out of the mouth, or you are in some refugee camp somewhere in a virtual version, actually talking to people who are talking directly like we are now to people who are in a crazy situation. I think this empathy is going to have a bright future with the new technology, and we're talking here around the world. That is a first for me, which is amazing. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It's great to facilitate.
It's just pointing to the place where we are sitting in a virtual meeting room. Everybody from around the world are there in a virtual way. If Steve Hawkins was living still, he could be part of a trip to the Himalayas. He could actually go there because he had his eyes, and he could move his chin, so he could actually move in virtual. Mm-hmm. So it's going to liberate people, and it's actually going to give the room I feel I have from creativity, where I feel really privileged to be able to move in an open space, which I call creative sea or whatever it calls. I really want to invite everybody to have that freedom, without having to move. Mm-hmm. And of course people should move because staying safe and staying healthy and so on. But having this extra gear, it gives so much joy, and so that you can give back to the community. Yeah. So that was a big rant on why Rebel Nature.
That's why we try not to interject as much as we can, because we really
I'm just
we like kind of a more casual atmosphere where people get to talk and get to explain, because it doesn't help if we're constantly like, what you actually mean. We want to listen, not interrupt. So no, you're totally fine.
I'll take some water now. So
please,
that's fair. I mean, one thing that I'm interested in with Rebel Nature is you have a lot of really cool ideas behind it. You have a really good message that you want to convey, and I'm very excited because I think it was announced publicly back in October 10th, 2019, that I think it was Tune to Tango.
Yeah.
It picked up Rebel Nature as a show. And we haven't heard anything more about it, probably because of COVID. It's kind of thrown everything into disarray. But I was curious if there was anything you could or would like to share as like a teaser about what to come.
Rebel Nature is an attempt to do world building in its purest form. And I think that there's so much movement in the way of wanting to take care of the planet, wanting to do something for the future, do something that's outside yourself, give more than you take, and all those things are just becoming high agenda, and also the whole green, getting. I think it gives so much purpose that people have these new things to change towards. I can give you an example. The place I'm eating, they have a menu out of without meat and one with meat. I'm not fanatic about that, but how amazing to look at the creativity on the not meat side up against the stuff I've been eating for 50 years on the other side. I'm taking the green side all the time because it's so innovative, it's so different, and I have this feeling about, okay, I'm doing something good for myself every time I choose that side, and it's really, it's a non-threat road, and that's what I'm always trying to sort of make people take, because that's also the way you become creative. There's so much inspiration to get from food, from nature, from talking to all kinds of people with all kinds of issues and problems and ways of life and so on. And the diversity is just, it's an unlimited creative fuel. So I don't know where I'm going with that. but I think I'm just trying to say that Rebel Nature is a celebration of what's to come, and it's also an it's going to be a struggle, but it's going to be a meaningful struggle, and I want to try to say to my hopefully future grandchildren, that we see this struggle and we start to move in that direction now, and we know you're going to take it further. You're going to be the real rebels, because I have seen teenagers in malls these days. They're not thinking about the environment. I just saw we have a park in Copenhagen where all the young people meet, and and I saw pictures today on Earth Day where they had left, and that was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Just to say,
no.
Nothing cleaned, nothing saved, nothing reused. It was just trash all over. But yeah.
Gosh,
they also, of course, you have to let loose, and if you do a lot of good things, then you can also do some a bit more insane things at certain points. But I'm just saying, if you're looking for purpose, then there's a world of purpose in where the direction I'm looking, which is amazing. And talking to you about this it's so gratifying, instead of just sitting talking about that I want to start a project where I can get somebody to invest a lot of money into putting product on shelf, so I can get people to buy this, so I can get money to do more stuff I can put on the shelf. And that's, I've been there. I've been in advertising for 30 years. So yeah, let's just say that I'm so happy I work for a company that makes so much sense, and that's pulling so much in a creative and an educational direction, because I don't think I would be able to look in the mirror if I had been a normal advertising person.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were just using all the tricks in the book to get people to fuck up their lives. So sorry for the wording. People are they are looking at the height of their work, money. They have a vacation and go on a cruise ship where they sit in a coffin, I call it. Mm-hmm. And they are sailed around eating immense amount of food while they are sort of carried from view to view and have to get back to the boat. There's no. And then they're entertained in sort of a Las Vegas style in the evening, mm-hmm. and looking at other people who are trying to find, the meaning of of relaxation. I'm just, mm-hmm. I've been there myself, and I'm just like, There must be something else. And Corona, I'm not saying Corona is good, but Corona has really, really forced people to look inwards. I know a lot of people has had trouble. I'm not talking that. I'm not trying to say that has not happened, and I'm happy about that in any way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I needed that. I needed that full break so much because another story. I went to Dubai just before COVID.
Oh man.
And I was like, I just lost my. I was like, what is happening? This is Biff's world. You know that from Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Yeah.
It's a wake up call. I think it's been to a lot of people about the state of things.
So I've been able to actually concentrate on the new project, which means that I'm in a really good place now because I had the time, and that's why I'm talking about patience. If you have creative things you wanna work for and you wanna live for and you wanna make great, then things take time. So that's also one of the virtues I try to add to the nice 3 ones that we already have.
I mean, they do say patience is a virtue, so.
Yeah.
The 4th virtue.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get installed there. Also to sort of try to excuse myself for taking so much time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, whatever you end up doing in Rebel Nature, Biovival, whatever, people will. If it's good, it won't matter how long it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's always been the philosophy, even with fan projects. We're like, never announce a date before you're ready, ever.
Yeah, we've been there before.
But you know, it's amazing being able to talk about it now with you. Makes so much sense because it, in some way, I want people in the process. I would love people to see every meeting, every effort that's made, every contact that's made to things that can move stuff ahead. As you know the guy who made this game for BIONICLE for 6 years. Premium.
Yeah, no, we're familiar. Yeah.
I talked to him. I actually I gave him a contact inside Lego. So they are in contact. I don't know what's coming out of that, but he was really happy.
I'm not. We're not totally sure either. There are a lot of really interesting fan projects in the works right now. We know some good folks over at Team Kanohi that are working on a game that is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they've been working on it for I think roughly same amount of time, and it's doing crazy things. It's doing
so many cool things.
So impressive to see what's coming out of stuff like that.
But that is what it's all about. That is amazing. People who being educated or inspired by BIONICLE in their youth, and now they are becoming really, really good at handling technology and so on, and they're creating new stuff to inspire next generation. That's I'm almost crying. This is that's amazing.
It genuinely is, and I mean we've had our various dabbles with projects like that and creating things. We made a film. It was an hour and 10 minutes long, and it was based off the original, the first year of BIONICLE, but we added our own spin to it. We had our own fun. We got creative.
And it was in Minecraft.
It was entirely. It was filmed in a video game called Minecraft. Because we love Minecraft because it's also it's what a it's
I love
beautiful,
Minecraft.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful creative plane that you can really engage with. And so we combined those two, and we faced our own struggles. We came up with our own solutions, and so
amazing.
A lot of it jives, and we totally understand because we've been there.
And you know what it did? It connected you as a group in a totally different way because you had a common creative endeavor, which is what this is about. It's about being together around meaningful stuff, and that's what I can say. My best times in BIONICLE has been when everybody disappears and you are the process. You become, like people call it, flow or whatever. I've been in sessions where it's like, time just disappears, and it's like you are there for the reasons, and people, the stories talking back to you, that's creative. It's really, I think it's like, it must be like being, like a rock star and having a total sort of a musical experience on a stage. And I think getting people to have these also by themselves, or maybe two people, that's what I experienced when I had the best play experiences as a kid, really being in there and not wanting to leave for anything,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think people forget when they grow old, and it's so sad. They have to try to refine this when they're leaving work and going on pension, and they can't find it anywhere because they haven't trained it. They've been told again and again and again to be serious,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so much about learning not to be serious.
I mean, cynicism is very real. People can start to fall into that trap. I'm guilty of it occasionally. I think it's good. It's good occasionally. Once or twice, I've been known to be a bit cynical, but I think it's good to refocus every now and then and realize like what's really important about things.
The perfect combination is left and right side of the brain, that you are able to flex fluently between those two, that what you can use. I don't know if that's the way to see the brain. I have another model that's in the TED Talk, but being able to be on the boat and in the water when it fits for the right purpose, knowing that you have this big place you can go whenever you have the time, and you can actually invent stuff. You can work together with people there, and you can go back on the serious boat where you have all your stuff and all your bills and so on, and get stuff done there, and then you can jump into the water when you want. Just having this double side of life, it will save your life, I think, in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
No, absolutely.
Do we want to ask? Do we want to get a few questions from the chat, Eljay?
Definitely.
Yeah. No,
I'm totally fired up. No, I can continue.
Beautiful. Cool. In that case, let's do some Q&A. So, to our gracious listeners over in our Patreon chat, go ahead and ask, as well as the YouTube live chat. We know we have people from both listening, so we definitely want to bring in as many questions from as many people as we can.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
Right, well, we'll let those kind of come in. While we wait, how's the weather been?
It's been, we had 1 day of summer, and then it actually started to be really cold again. So people were sort of lured out. Danes are crazy. They throw every part of clothes they have when the sun is shining, even though it's, they're lying out in the sunbed when it's a couple of degrees above zero almost when the sun is there. So people but we get the taste of spring here, but also then we get the rain and the wind as well. The day after. That. So, but that's why we are Vikings. We are what's become big through this Corona thing. People are bathing in the ocean during winter.
Oh no! Why?
There are more people winter bathing now than ever before, and it's like we're talking in Celsius. We're talking below zero, and people are training up for this. There's a trend of starting to take cold showers because that also helps your fat burning.
That is, I have heard about that. I have heard that there are a lot of health benefits to taking like a cold shower. Normally, what happens whenever
you're burning brown fat.
Yeah.
Between the shoulder blades, you need to the cold beam should hit you right between the shoulder blades.
Interesting. I've attempted that in brief before, and it usually ends up in a loud scream.
Yeah. But then you get your vocal cord exercise as well, and everybody in the house wakes up, so that's fine. You save warm water, so you also do something for the planet. Oh yeah, okay. I'm getting holy now. Stop me.
Well, all right. So we got some questions. So we got some that came in. Some of them can be kind of speed runs, some of them can't be. But We'll see what we can do. We'll start off with the Beaver House. This is a group that you may also recognize as Lightstone Studios. They are responsible for, well, first of all, one of the headrunners of the group, Vakiti, he has been instrumental in putting together the Bionicle Day panels. And he's been doing a great job there. They brought a lot of the software from early Bionicle kind of back.
That's nice.
And they've done a really good job.
Amazing.
They had a question, will we ever hear more of that Bye Bye Babylon remix from the Traga files?
I need to...
I don't
actually... I'm using it a lot for when I need sound from Mikkel Malta and the other CryoShell. That's a whole different subject, of course, I could talk about for years and years. But having that musical thing also on the side is fantastic. It's so that tune especially is really dear to me. I think it has something that we need to make a tune that's built on this remix. I think I would really love that.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm nurturing. I'm trying to get CryoShell into. They're in this serious part of life where kids and they need to establish themselves and so on. So I'm hoping them to come out on the other side and being able to really go all in on music. And I have a project there also related to NFTs. If anybody out there is looking up NFTs, then they will also know that the music business will be totally changed if this comes out. So you will be able to own stuff that you never owned before in a totally new way, and you will be able to probably earn money from it. So living from your art is going to change totally.
All right.
Okay. So that was a little rant on new technology. There's a lot about that on Clubhouse. So if we get something going there, if I can invite you and you can spread that sort of invitation row of people, then you will be able to learn a lot about artists pulling out NFTs.
Okay.
Different subject. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Okay. Next question is from Bombastic Brody, who asks, what is Faber's thoughts on films, and does he have a favorite?
Films.
As a general, just films.
Just movies, like films.
Yeah, but I'm a totally 80s. So all the classics from the 80s, of course Spielberg and Back to the Future, all those amazing imagination coming out of that era in Hollywood, I think was really innovative. And Pixar starting up there, doing their experiments, all that joy of telling stories using a new media as well. And yeah, I thought that I would get a new favorite when Valerian was put into film.
Didn't work out that way.
That was something about the casting. I don't know. But in general, I have one favorite, which is also a bit of a, I don't know, guilty pleasure. But I think The Fifth Element. Luc Besson, his early stuff is, I think, this French director. I'm really starting to get. I need to get some classics in there. I can feel, but I need to mention, Miyazaki, the Japanese animator. Everything coming out of there is so. It's so well detailed. It's so craftsmanship. It's so amazing in its storytelling levels, and it's mind blowing in its creativity. If I ever do something film like with Rebel Nature, I want it to be a mix between Miyazaki and Guillermo del Toro, Pan's Labyrinth or something like that. If landing somewhere in between there would be,
sounds
a
good.
dream. Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. All right. Let me see. I see. So I'm trying to find some good ones. But we do have quite a few questions. I apologize in advance. We won't be able to get to all of them.
Maybe we can make a second round.
That would be wonderful, because I feel like we've only really scratched the surface on everything that we can discuss, and we obviously love long form content where we get to ramble and discuss and
I'm more than open to doing something again if you're willing at some point.
Totally.
More focused on general Q&A.
Yeah.
Totally. I love just getting into this is like it's being alone with the creative process for so many years and actually being able to share it with people who are for some reason interested. That's totally mind blowing. I'm a bit I'm sitting pinching myself here. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being here. Yeah. This is it's wonderful.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
So this is not a question, but I feel like it's a cool comment that I wanted to read off. This is from Ethanator, who says, from South Africa, Bionicle is a big influence on how I design characters and robots. I've built robots in 3D and used mocks built in Bionicle as a reference.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can join the big global company that we're opening in a little while. Oh, that was something I shouldn't say. But sorry, yeah. Imagine all the fans being actually able to contribute into something creative and actually earning money from it. Yeah, I'm saying too much now. Sorry.
That's all right.
You're okay.
Hey, I need to tell an amazing story. There's a guy from a little island in the southeast Pacific, from the Maori tribe. He's asked if he could be part of if the Rebel Nature Bionicle was thought in some way. He would really like to get. He feels so proud that his religion and his this whole Maui thing was part of the Bionicle story. He would really like that it was part of the real thing next time, instead of being something that was sort of talked about that it was stolen or whatever. So imagine them stepping in with all their, it's reconnecting so many things that it's mind blowing. It's the ocean, because there are small islands with volcanoes in the middle of the ocean. People are living in that way. They're sailing. They're coming ashore all the time. They have the whole story about living in fear of big waves and living in contact with nature, and imagine connecting that back into the Bionicle sort of foundation. It's I can't even I don't know how to handle it, because I'm rattling. I'm dropping my glass here, and the water's all over the place.
Okay. Here's an interesting question. I don't know how much of this you can really get into, but it's worth asking anyway. So I think it relates back to something we talked about earlier. From Sir Bobby the Owl asks, is Christian Faber really not that open to exploring parts of Bionicle that are part of its identity, toys namely? If Lego is fine with a collaboration, would he be open to such a collaboration? So I guess, like, in terms of relating directly to the toys, what are your thoughts on, like, potential future when it comes to toys? Are you interested or not?
Yeah, totally. It's like, I would really love it to be, what do you call it? The way I played when I was young, I had maybe a character, and then I had some kind of car or whatever, and I would use the rest of the room as my location. So I would envision that the shelves was the rocks, and the sea was the carpet ending, and then you had the sea. So I would have the location I needed just in front of me. I didn't need to I just put almost like an AR layer on top, and and then I had the location totally fleshed out. And I only needed the toy as the igniter of the story, as a core. And I want kids to be able to play in that way, because instead of having a confined room where you're playing, okay, now you buy the Batcave, so you play inside the Batcave. How is that ever interesting? You spend so much time on building the Batcave, or just throwing it out, pulling it out of a box. You know everything about this cave, and your play is limited to that cave, because that's what some toy designer has thought out for you. That's where it starts for me. It's like
it's a springboard.
And if people are taught to play inside stuff that are pre-produced, or even by Lego designed by amazing designers, how are you ever getting the guts to do your own stuff? That is also why I want to link back to Minecraft, because that is a mind-blowing good idea with a mind-blowing simple execution that made everybody into a designer. You couldn't fail in there, which was amazing. My two girls have been building amazing stuff in there that I would never expect them to do. They have a 3D understanding of the world in digital space because of Minecraft. So that kind of ideas should, of course, have come out of Lego, because they should allow creativity to go crazy within the realm that it's created. I can talk a lot about this, because trying to put studs with the Lego logo on every digital brick, that takes up a lot of digital power, but you need that to actually brand your digital brick. So that is gonna cripple your engine for a long time when you start out,
Right.
and you have to go free inside. It's like saying you can only paint with a pencil in square shapes. It's no, it's a pencil. It can do anything, on a white piece of paper. So leave people to their own sort of what do they want to do when they're inside certain media. Don't try to confine the media according to other medias.
There you go.
And Lego bricks have to actually work up against gravity, which makes it totally meaningful that they have studs. But if you're in an environment where you don't need gravity, then okay, you don't need studs. That's So thinking play in the most freeing way or liberating way you can is my mantra as well.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. LJ, how many more you want to do?
Let's do I think let's angle for about 3 more. I did have a kind of a double question, so it's 2 different people, and this kind of comes into one.
Great.
So this is from John Smith and the Ghost Rider, and they ask questions that kind of interconnect. From John Smith, the first one is: do you have any opinions on Lego World Builder, if you're at all familiar with that?
I actually, that was the reason why I asked. I came with that strange sound, was that I'm not quite sure how to answer. We have been talking about a world builder tool for many years. It was actually part of the sort of design group way of working to get new ideas and so on. And I don't know what it's been taken to. Is it a program, or is it how does it work now? Do you know that?
I unfortunately don't have a in-depth familiarity with it. I can't speak to it. My understanding is that it is, in a sense, it is a platform for people to suggest concepts and ideas, either add-ons to like current Lego themes, or straight up new things.
So it's not Lego Ideas. It's outside Lego Ideas.
It's completely separate. It's more about conceptually, and different concepts, and then they will select to buy a concept from someone or a partnership.
Okay.
in that sense.
Well, that sounds amazing. I didn't actually, I've been so much in my own strange startup, so that sounds fantastic as sort of a connecting point between Lego and people outside.
Cool.
I think the more people or the more companies that are like Lego, that are really world builders, they are building the actual world because they are affecting so many people. The more you can get an open space there and interact, I think is amazing. It's and I think all the digital platforms and it's gonna boost that in so many ways. So yeah, I'm all for that. I have to check it out, I think.
Alrighty.
All right.
We
Excellent.
tried actually to do something with the Hero Factory where you could go in and build your own character and order it.
I remember that very well. That was awesome.
Matt Meso's
Yeah,
our
it was.
resident. He's our HF guy.
I'm waiting. Before we leave today, I'm gonna bring up Hero Factory, but I want this day to be over first.
He's waiting.
What's the next?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no, I was gonna. There was the other part of the question. Did you have something to add?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So here. So the second part of John Smith's question and Ghost Rider's question to kind of interconnect. So John Smith also wanted to know what your opinions on Sakota's anniversary project is. Sakota is a friend of ours. He has made a 20th anniversary Bionicle project for Lego Ideas. It ended up getting 10,000 supporters, which is what you need in order to go into the review stage. And it ended up not becoming a set. However, it's kind of seen revitalization on another website called Bricklink that Lego acquired recently. And it's currently in the process of hopefully becoming a set through that. He wanted to know your thoughts on that. However, it interconnects with the Ghost Rider's question. How do you feel about the idea of a potential Bionicle reboot as a minifigure scale system theme rather than Technic and Construction?
It's we went there a bit with the Hero Factory, these big battle machines, and I think that was really I think it was amazing because in some way we shifted size, but we didn't we sort of just made the play much more fun because now suddenly you had another size format, and I've always played with size in Bionicle about being small or big. You don't know where you are on the scale, so you're a big hero, but suddenly you find out you're part of a much bigger system and you're actually small. I love the stuff that you actually you're fluently in size. So for that said, but another thing is the biological building system is so special in itself, and I think the possibility of the ball joint is every animator's dream, because you can pose and make small changes and so on. So for stop motion and so on, I think the ball joint has a totally special ability on its own. I love that that's in there still. The minifig is so iconic. I would love to have it represented in all size forms, actually, because I think if you choose to play role-playing, then you might not want the big characters. You might just want this minifig that you can throw around. And you get the size better if you want to have a big villain or big character. Then the minifig suddenly, that size relationship is really cool. I'm totally for any extension, and I love that model. I supported it myself.
Oh, awesome.
Because it totally. And it's I think that again that creativity from designing that, seeing that possibility of putting everything together in one. I just think it's a piece of art, basically. Yeah, it's everything that I think should come out of something that's put on the shelf 20 years ago as a product that was like trying to live for 3 years, and 20 years later people are building stuff like that. I think that is an amazing journey, and we're sitting here talking about it 20 years later. It is a piece of culture, and it's part of our DNA.
Yeah.
So that is amazing, I think.
Yeah, no, we
I'm
know.
so pleased being part of that. It's being part of that is the best thing that come out of my professional career.
Right.
Yeah. And I only want to be a small part, just so you know it. I don't want to direct sort of the bigger. I want to put out creative ideas, and then hopefully people can run with them and make it their own. That's the dream.
That makes sense. I get you. Real quick, we do have Sakota, the gentleman behind the project, listening. He's listening from Germany, and
Fantastic.
he said he didn't know you supported the project, but he says thanks so much. We know Sakota. He's a fantastic guy. He is absolutely an innovator and a thinker, and he's just genuinely awesome.
I follow all these designers on Instagram. I think I have 2,000 or 3,000 that I've sort of connected to that makes Bionicle related models on Instagram, and that community is amazing. I would love to be able to sort of embrace the whole thing. I don't know how to do that right, but maybe some technology thing can make that come true. But it's a force of nature that Bionicle built. Community. That's imagine the creative power that's out there. It's
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. So, Meso, I don't know if that met the amount. I think we have time for one more, and then you had something.
We'll do one more, and then I'll do mine, which is more of like an aggregate of a bunch of people's. So you pick one more.
Okay, fantastic. Let me see here.
So fun.
You know what?
So cool.
You know what? This is kind of a funny question. I'm gonna modify it just a smidge because I think some people haven't they haven't asked it yet, but I think it's interesting to get a perspective on this. So Kohaka Nuva asks, can you please explain that Takanuva/Galley fan art? I think one that you had reposted to Facebook. I will add in addition to that, is love canon?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's another silly thing.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Okay.
You'll love to see it.
That's amazing. Yeah, but talking about biological chronicles, it is really difficult to get around the fact that certain parts are needed to carry life further into the future. And I'm not saying anything, not leaving anything out, but I'm just saying that, we had a long talk when BIONICLE was created about how do you pass on life? Who is, who can do this? Do we have any relationship to what actually happens in the human world? And that's why we say, okay, could we have this idea? That's also, in Hero Factory we have the hero core, which is like a special heart that they can get powered up. In BIONICLE, the idea, I think, was that, you had to, I think actually a female. I'm really getting into rough water here. Are you still there?
Yeah, no, yep. We're here.
I think the idea was that, if a male has to pass on life, he has to give his own. If a female can actually split her life source and create a new robot. I'm not.
Crazy. I'm awake. Continue.
I'm not quite sure what I'm saying now. If that's something inside my brain or something we actually discussed. I'm 20 years back into inside a story room talking about these things. If anybody should ask ever.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm trying to get back 20 years of. And this might be totally mumbo jumbo, whatever. And it's not canon in any way what I'm saying. But we just had to figure out how do you actually relate to a robot, and not having this most amazing thing of a human life that you are able to pass on life. And in some way, somewhere in between there is the principle of love. And I'm not sure how robots figure that out in the future.
It's the question of finding humanity and all that. It's one of the interesting things that I think could be explored in the format of a thing like Bionicle, but obviously being a Lego property, there was never much room for that.
But that's exactly why Rebel Nature is my sort of. I needed the human element to come on stage, and in some way I'm mixing, and now I'm getting really also into trouble. But if you see that triangle, and you have a robot in one, you have nature in the other, and you have a human. You could put in if you have Rebel Nature, then the robot corner could be in some way shaped by thoughts coming out of Bionicle. Mm-hmm. How does a robot think? Why do they act like they do? Do they have their own morale? I've heard about tests with electric cars or cars that drive on their own, and they have to do moral decisions when they are in a situation where they have to choose between hitting a kid in a carriage or another person. Mm-hmm. They have to take decisions if it's unavoidable. They have to make that moral judgment who to hit if they can't avoid anybody. If it's driving on and those that makes me think about these decisions will have to be taken by somebody in the human group of people very soon. And also the whole military side of using robotic techniques. How do you shape that side of morale? And now I'm coming to a really controversial thought.
It's okay. It's alright. If you want to
manage that.
What's up?
What if the future robots were controlled by people who already lived on the planet but had passed?
Interesting.
Could you imagine that? So if you have lived a full life full of all the trouble you have been through in human life, why you would save somebody and why you would do stuff, mm-hmm. and you are then sent in a spaceship as an AI entity until a new world where humans can't go. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting thing to explore, to be sure.
I'm going really, this is late
very
hour.
deep,
really in depth. Yeah,
very deep.
And I'm running backwards into reality now again. Sorry,
you're okay.
But when you mention love and robots, I tend to get a bit strange.
No,
that's okay. I'll follow up that very, very, very serious, metaphysical question with a very important question.
Here we go.
From Sea Drifter. Please, all I need to have lived a fulfilling life, Mr. Faber. Did you have any part in designing set 6934 Good Guy? I don't even know if you've ever heard of Good Guy in the Bionicle community. Have you?
What? I need to. Please help me here.
So many years ago, there was a polybag set, a promotional kind of a figure. It was a throw together model that vaguely looked like a Matoran without a mask, and it was called Good Guy. And this kid posted it in our group conference, so you could see in the chat. It is has become a community figurehead meme figure for many,
Yeah.
many years. No relation to the story at all. I guess
Literally
people, for some reason, think you may have had a hand in designing the character, but he's not
But
a
is it
character.
made out of is it made out of Lego bricks
Yes, it is.
or Bionicle bricks?
Yep, it was a Bionicle, promotional, non-canon, just creative figure called Good Guy. And he is a legend and people love him. Because he is a pure
I don't know if
soul.
I'm right now, but I'm sitting holding an original style guide, which is yeah, and inside the style guide box is a bag with a model in. I haven't opened it, but it's a model that is totally unique. And when I look
Really?
through this brown bag, I will have to have experts to look at it. But this could be that guy.
Oh my
doubt
gosh!
it,
No.
That would be awesome. I would love it, but I heavily doubt it. Good Guy. Well, thank you.
Because I don't think he got a name ever. Because this is a part of this. I need to know that the style guide I'm holding was made by the guy who also made Star Wars style guides.
Oh
man.
my gosh!
And there's only 100 made, and I have one of them, and I don't know where the others are, because
I don't know.
they were given to license, like to Nike and to Scholastic and so on to unfold Bionicle, and they are really nicely made. There is, you know what's in there as well?
Ah,
The VHS with the original Selling In movie.
Oh my goodness! Ah, that's so cool.
Well, I heavily doubt what you have is Good Guy, but you might have something even cooler. You might have a
Great
unique
Guy.
concept figure. The Great Guy. Who knows?
I have to see that. You have to send me a picture of what Good Life looks like.
Wait,
Can
yeah.
I find
Sure.
it on?
Yeah, you can find it. Just look up Bionicle Good Guy, and I posted it in our
Okay.
in our conference as well.
Wait.
Oh man.
Yeah, you should
Well-
see my room here. I'm around me Hero Factory boxes of old models and reference stuff and so on. This is
Okay.
I have the
Oh, no.
actually I have the
So-
clay how which I was giving from a fan.
Did you ever find out who gave you that?
I actually think that Kelly knew who it was.
Oh, okay.
He posted me at one point. He has the coolest full size mask of the Mask of Life,
Yep, I've seen that before. Yep.
which this is the only piece of product that I have sort of designed from the bottom, which is I'm really quite proud of, just having one piece of plastic that's out there that has some kind of part of this.
A lot of people love the Ignika. It's such a cool mask design. I've got a
I think it works pretty well, and it's the thing that is part of this thing that Matoro sort of becomes this legend because he gives himself to a greater cause. I think that's basically the morale of the whole thing to me, that to be able to give yourself for a greater cause or live for a greater cause. Yeah, I would wish that for anybody.
Fair enough. All right.
So
So we've talked about a lot this episode. The TTV episode.
Oh, it's
this interview. We're getting close to the time where we need to wrap up. I'm sorry, what?
I see the picture of
Yeah, that's
Good
good guy. He has no mask. He's just a person who's
maybe somebody who's been captured by the Piraka because he's and lost his mask and had to rebuild himself inside the prison or whatever.
People have tried for many years to show Good Guy to Greg Farshty and have him like canonize him as a character, but he won't do it.
Greg has said every time it's like, no.
I'm not gonna do it.
Which
He's
is
not real.
which I think adds to Good Guy as like a concept. It's like, all right, you know what? Fine, Greg, if you won't do it, we'll do it ourselves.
No,
The fans will.
I will give him a new name. The Truggle Morph.
Oh boy.
I can see, dude. Meso, I can see it now. Reviving Bionicle.
Yep.
Just that name is so.
Maybe he's the first one in the new series.
Maybe.
Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So we've had a
you
very
you see this beach with a lot of sort of haze and fog, and out of the shadow and silhouette, this guys appear.
good guy. That would be amazing. Absolutely the most fantastic thing ever to have happened.
I will do that animation for you. I guarantee.
You have no idea how many people you will make happy.
Holy smokes.
Okay.
That's amazing.
And it's gonna be accompanied by the sound of the Cryoshells remake of this song. You know, this Bye Bye Babylon. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. I'm just envisioning this in my head. I can't even. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Refo.
You have something to look forward to now.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay.
throughout this interview, we have talked about a lot of things. We have talked
Yes.
about the past. We have talked about your future. We've talked about very deep things. But if you'll forgive me, it is time that for a moment I take off my professional hat
AirPods.
and I become a fanboy for a second. Are you okay with this? I because I want to talk to you about Hero Factory.
Yeah.
Because I am the self-proclaimed #1 Hero Factory fan on the planet, and I will fight anyone who tries to take that title from me. I love Hero Factory. I am working on getting a collection of every model ever released, and I'm very close.
Wow.
I think I need like 3 more.
Should I say something now?
Many
Oh, do
years
you want-
ago,
Sorry.
many years ago, you released a blog entry.
Mm.
And I don't know if you might remember it. It was essentially along the lines of the Hero Factory story Bible was actually really complex, and we had a lot of cool things planned for it. That blog entry is no longer up. I think you may have deleted it.
Well,
I'm not sure why. It's not actually available anymore, but plenty of people were able to like archive it.
Okay.
My question for you: will we ever see anything from that story Bible or any more Hero Factory concepts? Because there is still fans out there. We're waiting. We're here. We're waiting.
Yeah. We're getting into the area where I'm handling stuff that I don't really, I've made a lot of it, but I don't own it.
Yeah.
Because I was working at Advance directly under Lego, and there's a lot of do you call it a lot of agreements there when you work on actual lines that are owned by Lego.
Right.
We make this stuff, and that's that is actually when you work for Lego, you have to accept a certain way of life, and that is that when you are invited inside, then everything you do and everything you show outside is in some way confined or controlled or whatever. And when I'm talking about BIONICLE, I'm treading a fine line. When I'm talking about Hero Factory, I'm jumping straight into a pool of black ooze that I don't know how to swim out of. So just to say that, because I know that Hero Factory was bought, the rights was bought by a big film company at a certain point.
The rights were bought.
Yeah.
I recall that was published.
It was Universal.
It was a partnership.
I know that
partnership.
I know that this is CBS stuff that was a big investment for Lego regarding the ball joint, all the new systems and so on. It was really ingeniously thought out as a new kind of building system. And I would love to be able to share the ideas there, because if you think that the underlying work of BIONICLE is big, then welcome to Hero Factory. Hero Factory is it's like a tiny shed on the outskirts of New York when it comes to what the rest of the story contains. and you haven't gone into the big city yet. I'm thinking Hero Factory was an entrance point for a totally new way of telling about robots in a contemporary way that was closer to our reality. And there are so many ideas where Hero Factory was connected to the real world, actually.
I'm so fascinated by that.
This was a pop, pop culture. And I want to say one word. The idea about Hero Factory was it was a real-time IP, which means that Hero Factory is happening out there right now. Which means that when the reporter of the Hero Factory radio show is sending out something, then that is what actually happens in the Hero Factory right now. So the whole idea about heroes landing on Earth was because that we had moved into their area of service, almost like a delivery service that has extended its sort of perimeter, and now they can start serving the Earth as well with these problem fighting creations in there from the Hero Factory. And funny enough, this comes together with the fact that humans are starting to use machines, thinking machines for more and more purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to, in another way than the epic way of BIONICLE, looking from the past into robotic life, Hero Factory was a way of looking from the present into robotic life. At the same time, all the time, trying to get people to think about how are machines gonna, not take over necessarily, but how are they gonna interact with our role? Because I generally I think that the way we have our iPhone now, or our smartphone, that is basically a small hero without legs and arms sitting our hand, and it's taking over a lot of tasks. It's just around the corner that it gets its own mobility. It can actually help you when you're a kid, and can't you can't balance on your bicycle. This life phone or whatever will support you, and when you get older, this phone will know you better than anybody else on the planet. So this phone, or whatever it's called, can actually become this exo body that you are carried around by, that knows your every detail. Have I lost you, everybody?
Nope. You're still here.
I am. Trust me, I'm hanging on your every word.
Have you seen the exosuits that people are building around the world, becomes part of your body, that makes you able to lift much more than you can, that makes you able to jump higher than you can?
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that is Hero Factory product, because it's actually sending a product to you that will either help you as an external robot, doing your dishes, or doing your the work that you don't want to do, or your gardening. But it can actually also become an exoskeleton carrying you around when you can't carry your own body. And I'm looking at Stephen Hawking. He was the first customer of Hero Factory, because his body was carried around by a machine supporting his life.
Mm-hmm.
Am I?
No, we're tracking. We're following.
See, all of this, I love when this is described, because I feel like people give Hero Factory a bad rap and they don't see the stuff it was actually trying to do. And I don't know, maybe if that's just because the cartoon, maybe people didn't get all those messages and those allegories from the cartoon. But like, I feel like there was so much to be done with it.
There is, and I'm just saying, you must remember that every time you think about this, you think about the direct-to-video BIONICLE movies, you think about the stuff that came out with Hero Factory and so on. we were fighting in an area where Lego had never been before. We were trying to make movies before any Lego movies were made. So there were people in there just trying to get it done as fast as possible. We were sitting in numerous meetings overnight with American companies trying to get them to make the right Bionicle film. And I'm not saying this to criticize anybody, but it's just to say it's really hard to keep sort of this this tone of voice, this sort of really detailed, meticulous way of telling story that we really wanted from the movie, to actually make that come through at the end. I think Creative Capers were the greatest guys to work with, and I've seen the jacket they've done and auctioned off for the 20 years. That's amazing. I think I'm going to sign it. I got somebody contacted me that actually bought that jacket.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Sign.
Yep.
So that's also a great story, a side story that is amazing. but just to say that we have been fighting on the productional side to get the quality as high as possible, and in some cases we've been working from a marketing budget trying to do a blockbuster film which doesn't fit together.
Yeah.
So where I'm heading for now is what I'm doing right now, because what I'm in now, that's called virtual production. It's a way of doing film and content using all the virtual skills that's available. And if you've seen Mandalorian, you know what I'm talking about. That is the ability I want to have at my disposal and at all other creative people's disposal, because imagine the creativity you can get out of, and it's also sustainable at the same time. So it makes so much sense because you don't have to travel, you don't have to build fantastic big set pieces without and having to pull them down afterwards because they can't be used for anything else. It makes so much sense, and it's creatively liberating in a way that's I have never thought that I should experience this in my lifetime, the stuff I'm seeing these days. And that is like I need to bring this to the world. I need to make something with this, and that's why Rebel Nature is in there, Bionicle is in there, Hero Factory is in there. Whatever I can push through this funnel to inspire people, that's gonna happen. If I can get the rights back for stuff, I will do it. I will get a piece of machinery that can make the stories come alive in a way you wouldn't believe.
Well, hey,
So-
I know you got a lot of stuff juggling between Bioviable, between Rebel Nature, between old stuff like the Taraga files, which people want to see. But I'm just saying, if you're ever able, rights, whatever, people would still love to see cool behind-the-scenes HF stuff. The fan base does still exist, small though we might be.
I have a little
I remember it fondly.
on that account, which is really amazing, because you know what I did when I was not being asked about stuff, sort of as an art director in my old days. You know what I did on the film sets? I filmed behind the scenes. I have behind the scenes of all the Lego film productions I've been on.
Wow.
On mini TV.
Gosh,
Talk about fascinating.
that sounds incredible.
So I have all the commercials, you know, with physical product. I have recorded behind the scenes from those, and they're lying in my one of my cardboard boxes over here.
Man. All right, well, fanboy mode off. Thank you for entertaining me. Hero Factory is great. Heroes to the core. Moving on.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
Real quick, we got some super chats during the duration of this. I want to read out very briefly. Cronus gave 100, I think it's rubies, RUB. He says, "Dear Christian Faber, after all this time and years, I have to ask, who is the best boy from Paraka? I won't fall asleep until I know." So who's your favorite Paraka?
Okay. God.
It's all right. We remember the names. If you just want to say a color, you're all good.
Yeah, but I'm trying to. We did this Clubhouse. Actually, Clubhouse. They had, you know, the scene where they have this this industrial robot that picks up the mask in the movie, and the one that puts on their headpiece, and actually I think, who's the guy on this bull?
Oh,
Vezok.
Vezok, yeah.
I think that was the funniest thing we went totally crazy here, you know, just, you know, we made this robotic bad guy clubhouse location, like sort of blend between industrial and Batcave, and it was really fun. but yeah, all those guys are also, because we tried to break into sort of a more sort of urban vibe there, and it was just coming away from all the epic stuff and the sort of stone carvings and so on, and getting into more graffiti stuff, trying to keep it sort of at a high level still. I love the you know, when they're framed with on the sort of as criminals, and the wall breaks down, and it was so fun to make.
Classic.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I have why can't I answer that? I don't think I have.
That's totally fine.
I think that's a pretty good response. I like that. You gave a good reason for your favorite, or for
I love all those
a good argument
small movies we made. Yeah, the small movies were really nice, and you know, the whole thing about the fence, you know, also the, you know, Inika that came to this rainy location. That was like a dream to make that they you know, all these sort of slow motion scenes where they were. Oh, that was so nice.
Iconic
really.
Commercials.
Oh yeah,
it was so good to make, and the songs came up there as well to kick off Cryoshell later on. So that was yeah.
Ah, so good.
All right.
So many
Next
good memories.
Next one is from Miri Santico. He gave £10. Says nothing to add here. Just wanted to support the channel. Keep up the good work, TTV and Mr. Faber. He doesn't like to be called Mr. Faber.
No,
it's Chris.
Listen, you're talking to Draw Boy, man.
Draw Boy.
That's a fun nickname. That really is.
It must be Draw Dad now.
There you go.
It's even better.
Because I'm dad funny. No, I'm you know, doing all these jokes that nobody laughs about. That's my role right now in the family. So
you've been making me laugh harder
I
today
could hear
than I
that.
have
Was
like
really amazing.
all week.
Yeah.
This
was amazing.
This has been a blast.
You know, my daughter's party for when she was like she was, I don't know what's called in English, when you go into the adult sort of, when you are what's it called, when you have a party when you're getting to a certain age in Denmark, at least.
Okay.
I did a rap.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it was what's it called, embarrassing dad and dad funny in the house. Yeah, it was so embarrassing. But I told her, I'm gonna give you 3 speeches on your party here. One that's cute, one that's a bit more where you are sort of a bit more teased, and then one that's really, really embarrassing. And she was like so nervous. She didn't know that I was gonna embarrass myself instead of her. So that was quite fun.
That is amazing.
Next up, Trevor Samora gave $50. Thank you so much. Says, please do not break the momentum to read this out loud, which is why I waited till the end. I got you, dude. Just wanted to support this amazing and wonderful happening, and for the people involved. Truly admire you all. Very sorry if I'm breaking the rules. No, not breaking any rules. Thank you for supporting the show and for listening today.
Even if you did break the rules, that'd make you a rebel.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's right on. Creativity.
Last one is from Sir Perry, $25. Says, I got a joke question and a real question. Was the Bionicle HOW inspired by the Warhammer 40k Space Marine helmet? And what was supposed to be the final goal of 1.4b 2020? Well, we've already talked about that. But what about Warhammer?
Didn't it?
You know, I have 2 Warhammer, you know, I have to ask Christopher Roundale, who actually designed that, because his initials are inside the original masks. If you look at them, that's a bit of a small secret. The designer's initials are inside the masks. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
If you look inside the original How, the red one, it says CR, and that's Christopher, who's my good friend and the best designer ever. I'm not gonna pull anybody out, but he has been so amazing through all the years.
Oh, so, shoot! I didn't know that.
No. I don't know if I'm supposed. Now I'm gonna be. I may go to jail now. But sorry.
No. All right, everyone. This is the new goal of 14B2020. We're gonna break Christian out of jail. Let's go.
There you go.
That's a Hero Factory episode.
I know. Break out. Well, suddenly a friend just popping into the chat. Thank you for.
Could you please bring Good Guy as well? He's a good jailbreaker.
Yes.
Trogglemorph is coming in.
Yes, Trogglemorphs. Yeah. But yes, there was another question in there as well.
No.
They
were just asking what the end goal was about 14B 2020, but we've kind of already got into that. Unless you want to.
Actually, I think sitting here talking to you was the end goal. Or no, it was not the end goal. It was the beginning. It was opening the door to this fantastic community. Yeah.
Fair enough.
It has served everything it should, and now we're on to the next path.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I think
good stuff.
I think that's actually a really good segue into, because all the super chats are done. Is that right, Meso?
Yeah, we're done. It was just the last one from Connor.
Thank you. Yeah, that's basically what we're angling towards. So I'll go ahead and let you, Meso, ask that one. Since I asked the first question, go with the last.
The last question for the day is from our patron chat from a man named Connor Hoffman. And Connor asks, let's see. I'd like to know, how specifically can we fans help promote this project? Is using the BioVival hashtag enough, or be a part of the collaborative effort? So in other words, going forward, what would you like to tell everyone about how they can help?
You know, I'm not a really good organizer, just to say. I'm so easy to divert into other creative ideas and start running. So I need my sort of, I'm calling it organization. It sounds a bit boring, but I need to build something around the setup that can help facilitate people coming into this wanting to attribute and I think maybe this new NFT possibility, think about being able to give out original art from BIONICLE with a special NFT on, and that's going to be generating funds to actually build projects. That is the way I'm thinking right now about Rebel Nature, actually selling original pieces there that can be owned and that can be resold. And who knows what that can bring in, because there's a lot of stuff there. All the boxes I have around me, I want to have it, I've talked about this before, and I know I haven't lived up to my saying on different videos about giving stuff away. I have this box of Kanohis that was the first one I promised, and it's still standing here, a full box of Kanohi, unbroken. And I wanted to, I remember doing a video where I said, people, if you write a comment underneath here about BIONICLE, I will auction this out to, I will sort of make a draw. And I haven't done that yet. I'm starting out stuff that I don't finish, but again, patience. This is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think actually you, TTV, as a connecting point.
Hello.
If I could bring out stuff when it's ready, when connection is sort of ready. Not to say that you should be sort of and marketing channel for my crazy stuff. But if you feel that it has a purpose, then being able to sort of break stuff through you would be amazing. You have so much knowledge on the whole community, and you have been making videos for so long. So I think that would only be fair to start stuff out in that way. So that's just something I'm thinking about right now. Having this
That's
really
a very
positive.
good idea.
I know that I'm totally down. We had a very similar conversation with Creative Capers, some of the folks behind. I figure you're familiar with them.
But you totally deserve. You have done so much. You totally deserve to be involved in what's going to happen in the future. I think you have earned your. You are sort of you are connecting point, and you have done amazing videos about stuff that was like you were getting nothing from us or people who were creating, but you were still building stories around stuff. So you are so entitled to become part of this next move, I think.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot.
It's humbling, and it certainly we
but
appreciate
whatever we can do.
Yeah, and that's kind of
likewise. I'm humbled, just so you know. I'm really, really. It's totally honest. I'm thinking like something must have been done right to get people who are so so cunning and so good at doing this, and they are interested in this still, even though everything has been waiting and waiting and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only one group that's just as patient as you. That's the fans of Cryoshield.
Yes.
That's funny.
But stuff is happening there as well because I really want to say something I'm not allowed to say.
It's okay.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
Fingers crossed.
But imagine something virtually happening there.
Oh boy.
No, I'm not saying anything more.
Okay, that's all right. I think
there's one more thing that I saw that I forgot to read that I kind of just want to do real fast. It was a question from A-Man. Do the prototypes for Boneheads of Voodoo Island still exist?
I don't know. I only have that video, but
Fair enough.
that remote control one is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's a crazy remote control model. It was, it had this rotating sort of what's it called, something crusher.
Yeah.
And it could actually tear other robots apart when it came.
Oh wow!
It actually split them apart, so it would actually be able to take masks off the face of other characters. And I'm looking at that robot war sometimes. These things happening on TV where robots go at each other inside a cave, inside a cage. And I'm thinking that could be pretty crazy with a BIONICLE twist.
That would be,
but
yeah.
I'm not throwing in anything in there, but it's just, I would love to have those models physically, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard somebody trying to rebuild them actually from the video.
Yeah, they're doing their best.
That's a cool endeavor.
Yeah.
But
and if you could imagine being able to put an NFT on that, then that unique piece of artwork would be able to, be forever the designer's property, and he could sell it off, and he would be attached to that forever. And it was sold again, he would get actually money from that next and next and next selling.
Yeah.
You have to look into it. It's crazy, and I don't know if it's a short-lived fad or whatever, but it sounds like there's so many people in there. It's not gonna die out. It's gonna change a lot of things.
I admittedly don't know basically anything
about I'm working it. I'm working together with a film producer who's doing his own film property, and I told him that in a little while he would be able to sell his movie to anybody in the world directly from himself. Imagine what's going to happen to all those in-betweens that have just been sitting, putting extra fees on top, and that's also going to happen to trade around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you meet somebody who's sitting crafting something in a foreign country. He's going to be able to sell this directly to who is actually buying it in the other without all the in-betweens. It's
pretty wild.
I'm just saying you because there's a Danish company called Maersk, who's one of the biggest freight companies in the world, and they have a full set of departments working on blockchain because of that this is going to change so much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to change for the creative business, and it's going to change stuff for all the properties we love here, and BIONICLE and Rebel Nation and anything, if it's working out the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do.
It's
Sorry, Aldo.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it definitely it necessitates further research, at least on our end for sure, and everyone should definitely educate themselves on what it is. So that includes us.
Yeah.
As far as what you were saying earlier about assisting with like talking about things and kind of getting attention to things, I mentioned we had a very similar conversation with Creative Capers, and what we told them was essentially like, we're always willing to help out. We're always happy to help show a community new things that are coming out, new things that the creators.
If we can use our platform as a voice, that's awesome.
Yeah,
like
you already are. You know, I'm seeing it. This is a groundbreaking event for me to do this. It's really opening a lot of new doors.
I'm impressed. The viewership has stayed consistently like around 200 viewers this whole time. It hasn't dipped at all. People are riveted.
That is a really.
They're looking for the next secret to come out.
Yes. But
I hope that I haven't been too sort of ranting and boring.
That's our speciality.
You shed a lot of insight. Yeah.
If
we just let you talk, you share a lot of cool insights.
It's a brand. It's what's it called? I forget the word all the time.
We've got 3 last-minute super chats, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up.
Yes.
Number 1 is from 26K down the drain. Did $5, and he says, "I show up right at the end of the Faber interview. Are you kidding me?" From what I heard, Faber is 3008, and I'm 2000 and late. So there you go. Lord Cthulhu, he had $5. Says, "How does one join the project, and how did you meet CryoShell?" Well, we've already kind of talked about how one joined the project, but how did you meet CryoShell?
Like a good Lego story, we built it actually.
Well, there you go.
It's actually, Mikkel, who knows Casper, who knows Christine in a different strange combination, and this just came together. The amazing story, you need to know this. Christine was receptionist at the agency in advance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And you know what happened? There was a casting where we had 10 singers, 10 girl singers to do recordings of the original first track. And they were without any names, without anything. They were sent to US, and they had to choose who is going to be the voice of, of this first song. And Christine was chosen without any question.
Wow!
And there were professional singers in there as well.
Wow, that's fantastic.
She has a voice that it's so personal. It's so I can't. It has a totally special. I don't know. It's just itself in like. Actually, I was like, when Billie Eilish came out, I was like, okay, damn, that's it's this totally without coming from a totally new direction, I feel, and having a lot of depth in it. So she was chosen randomly, and I was sitting like, oh, I hope she's chosen because she's so special, and she was just chosen without any doubt, which was like, okay, well.
That's so cool.
And it's been a really rough ride trying to get stuff out there, but I'm so certain that if this NFT thing works, we're gonna give out cryoshield stuff with this NFT technology in it, both hopefully vinyl and CDs as physical stuff. Maybe with special artwork included in limited edition, whatever. Yeah, that's my big dream.
Alrighty. We have a $10 super chat from Trevor Samora. It says, once in a lifetime opportunity to say thank you to you, Christian Drawboy Daddy Faber, for your thoughtful work and words. It has been an inspiration to me for many years.
Yeah, but thank you so much. That's I'm it's actually it's so much wealth to hear people being inspired by stuff that you do. That is beyond anything you can get in money or prizes or fame or whatever. To actually face to face to one person tells you that this is inspiring. That's enough, almost.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I wish my daughter had that opinion about what I do.
Well, if she needs to hear it from two super young, super hip, super like in the know folks, you're awesome.
That could be so cool. That could be cool.
You're awesome.
Faber,
but you know, I have this principle. Show, don't tell.
Yep.
So I need to show her that other people thinks that this is cool.
I mean,
and
bingo.
And whatever.
Just tell her it's like over 200 people for over 2 hours tuned in to listen to you talk from across the world.
Wow, it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
we're almost to 3 hours.
This is what we were talking about. Like, we can go on and on.
We have 26K down the drain, and Evershadow 7 having a super chat war about wanting you to go to prom with them.
Here, let me allow me to vocally illustrate this conversation. It starts with Evershadow, and then 26K continues. Mr. Faber, will you go to prom with me? No, go to prom with me. No, you love me more. Nuh-uh. Yeah. Nuh-uh.
That's literally playing out in our chat right now.
That is, and listen, like, we appreciate the super chats, but guys, come on, relax.
Can I just being a Dane? I've never been to a prom. I need to know what this includes.
Dancing.
You just dancing.
Drinking fruit punch. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I do a haka dance?
Sure.
I think they'd allow that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the one with yelling and screaming and looking strange in the face.
Of course. Why not?
And I have to have tattoos all over my body.
Totally fine. You blend right in.
I'm gonna look like good guy, I think.
Oh my goodness.
All right, that's it.
Okay.
I'm gonna dress up like him.
Oh my gosh.
The body posture is pretty close anyway, so...
Something great has come out of today, showing you good guy. I'm very glad.
Oh my gosh, this is not what I expected out of today.
All right.
Is it an M that his body is forming an M?
I have no clue. Maybe.
Could he be Makuta?
Oh my gosh.
Possibly.
Oh no.
He would shape as a Matoran.
He would call himself good guy. With really small hands. No, sorry, I didn't say that.
He's black and red too. He looks evil.
Oh my gosh.
I'm good. I'm gonna solve anything. I'll break the fence. I'm really good. You will love me. You will love me. You will love me.
Oh my goodness.
This sounds exactly like good guy. Holy smokes.
You will love me.
All right, that's so quickly.
One last super chat
before
Sir. There's one more.
Okay, all right, one more.
Sir Bobby the Owl gave £10 and says, "Thanks for answering the questions. Much love from Dubai."
Whoa!
That's awesome.
Worldwide.
Wow.
Worldwide stream.
I'm getting. Yeah, that's crazy. It's an out of body experiences for me. I'm floating above my my cardboard boxes right now. Thank you so much.
Well, we'll go ahead and begin the wrap up. I want to say thank you for coming on. Throughout the years, you know, we've talked a lot about the stuff you've done, including in the most recent 2 years about 1.4b 2020 and BioVival. I've made a lot of points. I've cast doubt on some of the things you've done, but it's all from a place of love because I love the work you do, and I'm really, really thankful to you for coming on today and talking about it. I feel like I have a better idea of what you're trying to do, which we will then do our best to disseminate to other people and try to help paint a clear picture of your overall message and your overall goals. And it means a lot to be able to have been able to speak with you today. So thank you very much for coming on and being willing to talk to us about things.
I don't know how to thank you for this, because this is amazing. It's really. And please keep criticizing. You know, I hate it when it's just oh, this is so great, fantastic. You know, it's so much more interesting when you say, what is this? You know,
well, it's all about different perspectives. Like you're an artist, you're a creator. You've done a lot in this world, and all I really know is the small niche perspective of the community. But if we pool resources and we pool creativity and perspectives, it comes out to a good end goal. That's the spirit.
That's so good. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for the rants that actually called upon this. So
the good old
as
rants.
I always say, all the the bad stuff is gonna push us into good stuff. It's so I'm not afraid of criticism. I'm not afraid of discussions or things not making sense. No,
for sure.
I have a little last story. You know, I have a little game with myself when I'm walking on a pedestrian street. We have these slabs of stone. I always look for the broken ones. They are amazing and they contain stories. How did this slab of stone break? All the other ones that are not broken are so uninteresting. So that's why, I know that a lot of people that's been in this community have struggled with stuff like being bullied at school, and they've really gone into using BIONICLE as an escape or whatever. But just to say, the broken ones are the most interesting. They contain all the stories that make sense. I don't know.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Really, I don't know if I should end on such
that's fine.
sort of a high note, but
I think that's perfect.
LJ, do you have any last words to say?
No, definitely. We never shy away from saying difficult things and being honest. We definitely we take a lot of pride in being honest about our opinions, even if sometimes it doesn't come off the best way. It can be harsh. It can be ridiculous. It could be. There's a word I want to use. It's not theatrical. There we go. Theatrical.
Theatrical's a good word.
Because at the end of the day, we like to entertain people, and we like to help people kind of enjoy things and hear perspective. But it's one thing. It's one thing to be a part of creative processes and look at what other people are doing and listen to what other people are doing, and it's another to engage. And we are so immensely grateful that you took the time today to engage with us, to really help kind of share with us the true meaning behind what you're doing. And we're not going to stop being honest and open and wanting to engage. And we're here to we're fortunate enough to have this platform to try and help others do the same. And we really want to help out in any way that we can to help engagements happen more and more and more.
Amazing.
So again, thank you so much for being here. This has been an absolute blast. This has been so much fun. This is one of
We've been laughing so much.
We
That's
have.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the wildest interviews I've gotten to be a part of, and thank you. And I'm super excited to help host the panel with you and Bob Thompson and Greg Farshty and Martin Anderson.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a blast. But thank you for this. This has been wonderful.
Crazy. That's gonna be crazy. Thank you so much, everybody who's listening. And this is an amazing experience for me. You know, it's just. I hope it's the first of a lot of events or stuff we can do.
By
to
all
open
means.
Up. So thank you. Yeah.
You know where to find us.
I'm humbled and totally energized.
Good stuff.
So fantastic. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Yes.
It's close to midnight here, so
We gotta get you to sleep.
We'll go ahead and we'll sign off the stream, and then we'll say goodbye. So thank you very much, guys, for watching today. If you'd like to leave your comments on this interview, please feel free to do so in the comments section below, or on the TTV message boards at board.ttvchannel.com, and follow Christian Faber's Instagram at FabFrames, FabFrames, for all sorts of concept postings and developmental updates that he will share over there. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
Farewell.
bye.
Farewell.